Room Freedom Through Literacy Awards ceremony. And a very warm welcome to our 2020 winners, Chris McGilvery, calling in from Canyon, Texas, Ty Allen Jackson from New York City, Times Square, Charmaine Sotsi from the Navajo Nation, Shinle, Arizona, and Bazarat Kazim from Lahore, Pakistan. Congratulations to you and welcome. The Freedom Through Literacy Awards honor individuals whom the judges decide best exemplify the mission of our organization, which is to enrich lives and societies by proactively encouraging freedom through literacy. We received applications from all over the world, from authors, nonprofit literacy organizations, librarians, and educators, and they were top-notch, which made voting for the winners very challenging. But as they say, the cream always rises to the top, and you, souls, congratulations. Cambodia via Martha's Vineyard now, Zimbabwe, Pakistan, Pennsylvania, and Vermont. Plus, 100% of our board of directors are with us, and they're calling in from Honolulu, Portland, Oregon, Washington, D.C., New Hampshire, and Pennsylvania. My husband, Scott, and I founded Judith's Reading Room 10 years ago in the memory of his first cousin, Judith F. Krug, whom you'll hear more about in a minute. Judith's Reading Room has fulfilled its mission by donating nearly 128,000 books to organizations serving tens of thousands of people who do not have access to books. And we've established 99 libraries in 21 countries. Library number 100 was to have been dedicated last month at the Ziga Primary School in Zimbabwe, but the coronavirus had other plans. Once the children are allowed to return to school, Sue Goatley and Sarah Adams, our partners in Zimbabwe, tell us that they will host an official dedication, and you'll hear all about it on our website. In the meantime, we're happy to welcome Sue and Sarah today on this Zoom call, all the way from Zimbabwe. Scott and I wish like could have been with you last month. Welcome to the Judith's Reading Room family. Now, let's get on with the show. I'd like to introduce my husband and co-founder of Judith's Reading Room, Scott Lieber, who will take us back in history and share some of our highlights over these past 10 years. Scott, over to you.
Thank you very much, Kathy. And I would like to welcome and congratulate all of the 2020 Judith's Reading Room Freedom Through Literacy Award recipients. Thank you all for joining the Judith's Reading Room Board of Directors and all of the friends of Judith's Reading Room who are with us today for this virtual award ceremony via Zoom during this most unusual year in world history. My name is Scott Lieber. I am co-founder along with my wife, Kathy Lieber, of Judith's Reading Room, a nonprofit literacy organization, which we established in 2010. 2020 is definitely a milestone year for Judith's Reading Room, being our 10th year, which I don't suppose anyone will soon forget. We created Judith's Reading Room to honor the legacy of my oldest first cousin, Judith F. Krug, who was the director of the American Library Association's Office for Intellectual Freedom. Judy passed away at the age of 69 in 2009, after over 40 years of tirelessly fighting for for the US Constitution's First Amendment's guarantee of the freedom of speech in her capacity at the American Library Association. Herself a trained librarian at the University of Chicago, Judy fought the censorship and banning of books in whatever form, which for her became a never-ending journey across the length and breadth of the United States, and several times ended up in front of the United States Supreme Court. My cousin's successful efforts in defending her fellow librarians out in the field when they were challenged with the prospect of book censorship and/or banning can only be described with one word: tireless. So as you can see, my cousin provided Judith's Reading Room with its reason to continue her never-ending journey. The how to continue Judy's never-ending journey in 2010 began with the idea of simply providing mobile libraries on book carts to immobilized individuals in hospitals and nursing homes in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania. In this way, Judith's Reading Room provided freedom through literacy by providing books to those who could no longer access books on their own. And then, very early in 2010, our how quickly expanded when we were contacted by the Pennsylvania National Guard, asking us if we could possibly supply books to active duty US Army troops at Camp Phoenix in Kabul, Afghanistan. We immediately said, of course, and consequently, we found that Judith's Reading Room had entered into a much larger dimension than our original how had intended. We created boxing parties whereby anywhere from 20 to 30 volunteers would meet on the first Monday evening every month, initially in our living room, and then at our donated office space in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. For 65 consecutive months, Judith's Reading Room volunteers would box up books to be sent to US troops overseas in special flat rate US military boxes. Our single destination of Camp Phoenix quickly expanded to many other bases around the world, including the aircraft carriers, the USS George Herbert Walker Bush, and Carl Vinson. Then in 2015, our how became the Freedom Through Literacy Award to honor those who are doing astonishing work to instill in others a love of reading. Over the past 6 years, Judith's Reading Room has been extremely proud to recognize and support 35 individual champions of literacy by awarding a total of $38,500. But our why and our reason to continue Judy's never-ending journey has remained a constant throughout our 10-year history, namely to enrich lives and societies by proactively encouraging freedom through literacy. Judith's Reading Room's 2020 Freedom Through Literacy awardees, along with their predecessors, all show us every year that the need is so great to continue to recognize, reward, and protect freedom through literacy. Thank you all again, and congratulations to the 2020 Freedom Through Literacy Award winners. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce Aaron D'Amelio, a fellow Judith's Reading Room board member. Aaron, take it away.
Thank you very much, Scott. So I am very honored and excited to introduce the first winner of today's, for today's ceremony, Ms. Charmaine Sotsi. When we decided to, as a board, to honor Charmaine with her organization, Chinle Planting Hope, I was honestly thrilled. Her application truly inspired me with its recognition of not only the strength, but the resiliency of her Diné people in the Navajo Nation in Chinle, Arizona. but at the same time also acknowledging where support was needed. And even just seeing some of the pictures from the reservation just inspired me so much as well. They're just incredible. This particular board option prize will support the creation of a mobile library with the purchase of $500 worth of books that Charmaine believes will inspire intergenerational literacy among its families. And you can see some of the wonderful books right now. So if it's anything like the following video, I'm very confident in Charmaine's mission to inspire intergenerational literacy. So if we're able to, Carol, I would love to show this video right now. If not, we can also cut it a little short and I can just introduce Charmaine as well.
Okay, I'm sorry, but that doesn't seem to be in here, and I can find it and show it quickly. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. I think it might just be wonderful to to have to just introduce Charmaine and just present the to honor her. So so yes, I am very incredibly honored to present this board option award and certificate to Ms. Charmaine Sotsi. So congratulations. And I don't think, unfortunately, I don't see Charmaine on right now. I think she dropped off, but
she's just coming in again.
Oh, there we go. We'll see if she's able to chat. And Charmaine, are you able to hear us right now?
She's coming. There she is.
Hi. Wow. I didn't get to hear the first part when can you repeat it again? Can you see me?
We can see and hear you, Charmaine. I just was talking about how wonderful your application was and how inspiring your mission is.
Thank you. Do you need me to say anything? I didn't catch that part.
If you would like to say anything, you're more than welcome to.
It's an honor to receive this award. It's really moving because, like I said in the application, it feels like we're overlooked a lot of times, like the Navajo Nation or the Navajo people in general aren't recognized usually, and sometimes I feel like we feel like a small minority or a small piece in the big world. To be honored, to be awarded the books and just the prize, we really appreciate it. The net children we fall below like in academics, and I feel like a big part of it is because we're not instilled with reading, with the knowledge of reading and the tools to be equipped with literacy. And I'm really appreciate it. I really appreciate this. I recognize how important it is to start reading early at an early age. This means a lot to me and the team and the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Charmaine.
Thank you.
Just to imagine the sounds of clapping right now. Thank you. Now it's my honor to introduce our next board member to introduce the next winner. So I will pass it along to Mr. David Lieber.
There he is.
David, you're muted right now.
Yes, you gotta unmute him.
There we go.
Now we're unmuted?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Aaron. It is my pleasure to present a 2020 Board Option Prize to Bazirat Kazim, President of Alif Laila Book Bus Society, Lahore, Pakistan. Bazirat is no stranger to Judith's Reading Room. In 2015, she applied for our first Freedom Through Literacy Award. She told us that she was searching the web looking for literacy awards, and ours popped up. Well, lucky for her, she ended up winning this year's grand prize. Her project, the Alif Laila Book Society, marked the beginning of our great relationship. In 2015, Judith's Reading Room established 3 libraries in conjunction with Bazirat. In June of that year, we decided our 90th library in memory of a Pakistani schoolboy who foiled a suicide bomber, and then we immediately added our 91st library in a government girls' school reaching over 3,500 children. 3 months later, we created a permanent English language library in the headquarters of Alif Laila, making it our 92nd library. This year, Bazirat continues to surprise with her creative and ingenious approach to find unique ways to get books into the hands of children who do not have access to books. She told us about her organization's goals to get books into Pakistan's least populated areas. We are proud to announce that her project, the Camel Library for Kech Balochistan, is the winner of a 2020 Board Option Prize, and to show our support for her latest effort, Judith's Reading Room is proud to announce today that the Camel Library for Kech Balochistan is named our organization's 101st library. And in this photo, you can meet our camel driver and Barat, the camel, who will transport the books to these beautiful children. And how about let's go to the videotape and meet Barakistan.
Audio.
Carol, we can't hear the audio in this video, unfortunately. While we figure that out, Basra, if you would like to say any words,
In May
we welcome you to.
I was the happy recipient of the Freedom Through Literacy Grand Prize, and subsequently
from Bazirat Kazim in Pakistan.
सब्ज़ा, तितलियां, खरगोश, हिरन, वहाँ की हर चीज़ रंगीन और खुश थी.
The Alif Laila book bus in my relationship with Judith's Reading Room spans 5 years. In May 2015, I was the happy recipient of the Freedom Through Literacy Grand Prize, and subsequently, Alif Laila received 3 Judith Reading Room libraries, 2 of which were sent to the Etizaz Hussain School in Hangu, Government Girls High School in Sheikhupura, and 1 remained at Alif Laila in Lahore. This year, we were awarded a prize for being one of Judith Reading Room's 10 standout libraries, as well as the Board Option Prize to begin a Camel Library in Balochistan. The photographs you see in the video are of children from Hangu, Sheikhupura and Lahore. Our partners in Balochistan, the Female Education Trust, will facilitate the Camel Library in 3 areas of Mand Gauge: Soru, Kohbojt and Uzai. I'm really excited to introduce you to Murad, the camel driver, who will be transporting joy and books on his camel Roshan, whose name means bright and is completely attuned to his job description. Through the Camel Library, we hope to provide fulfillment to thousands of young girls in these 3 areas of Mand. Winning the Judith's Reading Room Award is an affirmation of our work. It strengthens our resolve to persevere no matter what the challenges. And what does freedom through literacy mean to me? It means an end to ignorance and prejudice, and opening up to people of different lands and cultures, of being able to see them as parts of the whole rather than the other. Freedom through literacy is finding roots and being able to fly. True to the Ubuntu philosophy, it is us together rather than me alone.
Warm greetings from the
All right, well, thank you. And I'm passing the mic on to the next person. So, hold on 1 second.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm very proud and honored to introduce Ty Allen Jackson, author, publisher, literacy advocate, Bronx, New York native, who is named winner of the 2020 Judith Award. This award was established in 2018 and is given in the memory of Judith F. Crew to a teacher, author, or librarian. Congratulations, Ty. As a high school teacher myself, I am thankful to you for your outstanding contribution to literature. Ty is an award-winning children's book author and a captivating motivational speaker, as you can all see for yourselves when you type in his name on the TED Talks app, where he was featured 3 times. As a touring author, Ty has inspired generations of children to fall in love with reading, even kids who said they hated reading, by telling them that they just haven't found the right book yet. His book, Danny Dollar Millionaire Extraordinaire, is a fun book that teaches readers about finance and entrepreneurship in a funny and relatable story. His books provide kids with powerful messages, and the necessary thing about Ty is that he inspires children and educates adults about the impacts of illiteracy. On behalf of Judith's Reading Room, it is a privilege to present you with the 2020 Judith Award. Today, Ty, we shine a bright light on your books that feature Black and diverse children in superhero and contemporary roles. It is my pleasure to virtually present you with this certificate and award, and to tell you that your prize of $1,500 will be mailed to you at the end of this Zoom call. Now I invite you, Ty, to unmute yourself and accept this award.
Hi everyone. I can feel the clapping. I can't hear it, but I can so feel it. First thing I want to say is, of course, I want to acknowledge and thank every single person for the Judith Reading Room Award. I mean, it's the fact that you're doing this is such a testament to the mission of your family member who started this in the first place. To carry this on, I think, is incredibly important. I also want to acknowledge the past and current winners. Just hearing their stories, it just really is so powerful, and I just can't help but realize as I sit here in New York, and I've lived in the Northeast my whole life, but how vital and important reading is, not just in our little parts of the world, but to the world itself. So thank you for all of you. I'm so inspired by these stories. I think this award means so much to me, and it's so important. I'm an independent author, and indie authors don't get love. Indie authors have to struggle and fight and really hustle and grind for any type of acknowledgement, if any. And so to be able to be acknowledged, to be seen, and to be supported something and by an organization like this, I think it's a testament to the hard work and perseverance that us indie authors have to put through, so that they can see that, you know, that what they do is as vital as the big publishing company authors are. And it just gives tremendous hope that you know, the work that we do isn't in vain. It's obviously to be acknowledged by our peers and by so many of you amazing people, but of course to be acknowledged by the children that we're writing these books for. And so this type of acknowledgement shows that we're striving to get, you know, to the place where we're really, where our mission of promoting the power and the importance of reading is really being seen and resonates with youth and adults alike. So thank you so much for this award. It really means more than I can express, and you're all awesome.
Thank you, Ty, and congratulations again. So moving on, I'm happy to introduce Vice President International, Linda Wellstein.
Linda, you're on mute. You're on mute right now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. And I just want to remind everybody that the best laid plans never go as we plan. So thank you for your patience, and let's continue to have fun with our ceremony. Thank you, Carla, for the introduction. And I have the great privilege and honor of introducing this year's 2020 Judith Reading Room Freedom Through Literacy Award Grand Prize winner, which is Chris McGillivray, and his program called Teacher and Student Ambassador Project, which is based in Canyon, Texas. This is a very unique program as it establishes a Leaders Readers Network, where he assembles teachers and students and trains a network of students to learn about illiteracy in their community, and then trains them to go out and help provide resources for other younger students in need to be exposed to the importance and joy of reading and literacy. The students help distribute books with words of encouragement. They surprise young students with a brand new book, and other numerous programs that Chris works out with the students and the teachers. To date, Chris and his team have trained 205 students, partnered with 215 teachers, and impacted over 55,000 students' lives. Therefore, it is with great enthusiasm and honor that we honor Chris McGillivray as the grand prize winner of Judith's Reading Room Freedom Through Literacy Award for his innovative, child-centered approach to foster a love of reading and leadership for children across the United States and in Dominica. So we'd like to give you this trophy, which looks much nicer in person, and a certificate, and we will mail your grand prize amount of $2,500 after the ceremony. And Chris, we'd love to have you say a few words and highlight some of the characteristics of your program to share with the rest of the audience here today.
Thank you so much, Linda and everyone. Thank you for the kind words. I remember when I got the phone call, and I was really surprised, and I was in tears because I have been volunteering the last 8 years to do this work, and this is my life's work. And I think we all have stories that are connected, and it's an honor to sit here in a room with you all, literacy lovers, and we all are living the legacy of Judith Krug. And this award represents her, it represents all of us, it represents the teachers and the students that are in our communities. And so I think one thing that resonates with me is that this has always been a part of my life. Literacy has always been important. Education has always been important. My mom grew up in poverty in the Philippines, and she lived in a bamboo house, did not have access to running water. And growing up, she would remind my siblings and I how important the opportunities we have here. And she would instill hard work and instill the love of learning and reading in us, even though she had to stop going to school at 11 years old to work on her family's farm. And so when my wife and I moved to Dominica, I just had visions of her childhood, and I would go volunteer at the schools, and it reminded me of my mom. It reminded me of my first teaching job in Midland, Texas, where I taught 7th and 8th grade ESL students, refugees from Myanmar, Burma, students from the borders of Texas. And it just reminded me that there are children that need us. And so before moving and leaving Dominica, and after volunteering at different schools, I decided I wanted to do something, and I wanted to create something to help children. And so the nonprofit came to life, and we've been able to partner with students and teachers to lead the change, to support early literacy in their communities. And so it's been an amazing journey. The students and the teachers that we work with, the stories that they tell us, the transformation that is happening in their communities and their schools is quite amazing. And so we pair up upper grades with lower grades, and they get to read with the kids. They get to share those words of encouragement that is inside each book that is written by a student for a student, to let them know that someone cares and is rooting for them. And so they could always go back to that words of encouragement and know that someone's thinking of them. But it's that connection to that book that they'll open up that book and continue to read it with their siblings, read it with their cousin. And then when that upper grade reads their brand new book with the lower grade, they surprise them. You get to keep this. This is yours. And so I've heard stories where kids are just holding on to their book throughout the school and won't let go. I've heard stories where kindergarten students have never had a parent read with them. And when they got that brand new book, their mom read with them, and that child told his teacher, and it was just really amazing. And you hear all of these amazing stories. And so when we give students and teachers an opportunity to learn about the literacy gaps in their community and how they can be a part of that solution at an early age, there's true not only transformation, but we're able to help eliminate illiteracy. And so when I hear about projects that are happening around the world, from the Camel book projects to providing books that kids can see themselves in, it tells me, you all are all surrounded by children, and they're learning about the love of reading. And so I encourage all of us to just continue to do this important work and inspire those kids to share that love that you gave to them to others, because Judith Krug's legacy will continue to live on within each of us. And so this award really means a lot, because when we're doing this work, sometimes we don't get recognized, but we don't do this for that. We do this because we know that that child that needs us. We are doing it for them. We are ensuring that they have access. And so we'll all just continue to brighten children's lives through books. And I'm just so thankful to be a part of the Judith Reading Room, and I am honored to accept the 2020 Freedom Through Literacy Award on behalf of my board and team, the teachers and the students that we work with. So thank you, everyone.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Chris. That was beautiful to share that. It's really wonderful. And I must tell you, your application, all of the passion that you just expressed came through your application. So it was just beautiful. Please continue your good work. And we look forward to seeing you staying active with Judith's Reading Room in the future, as well as our other past year winners. And on that note, I'd like to now make an introduction to one of our very energetic and brilliant board members, Mr. Anthony Baker, who will be hosting a brief literacy stories panel discussion for us today. Anthony, I turn the mic over to you.
Thanks, Linda. So as we were reading each of your applications this year, there are so many inspiring stories and so many details that it seemed it was really important for this celebration for each of you to get to share some of those details with the other winners this year, and not just with us as the board members reading the applications. I think some of the things that really stood out was no matter how different the projects or the type of work you're doing or how geographically diverse all of the applicants were this year, there were so many similarities into the work that you're doing. So I'd like to use this opportunity for the next maybe 15 to 20 minutes to give each of you some time to talk about that. So I'll have a few questions queued up for this year's winners. And if you have a response, please jump in. So the first question I have is, what is one anecdote or personal story that to you illustrates the positive impact your work has had? And maybe Chris, as the grand prize winner, you can jump in first.
There's just so, yeah, let me think real quick. So we had, there's two that are just like coming at me right now. And I remember one of our students, one of our youngest student ambassadors, Sydney, she's 9 years old. She applied to be a part of her school's leadership team. And she applied to it and she found out that she didn't get the opportunity. And I found out about it and I said, we don't need to have a title to do something good in your community. And guess what? You met the right person at the right time and I want to help you. So let's make a difference together. And so she joined our student ambassador team last December. And we did a Pennies for Literacy project where we raised change, pennies, dimes, nickels. And we did this not only in Kenyon, but we invited teachers across the state to raise change. And so everyone had their change buckets and put their creative spin to it. And we had schools raising change for brand new books to give to kids in their community. And keep in mind, several of these schools were Title I schools. So several of the students had very little resources. And so, but when you think about change, you think about, I found something and I'm going to contribute something, and we all can contribute something. And so, Sydney did that. She had the opportunity to present in front of college students. She went to the Student Government Association and she shared her story. She has two sisters. They were recently adopted. They were in foster care, and she shared their story of not being able to have access to books, and that's why she's doing this project, and that's why she wanted to be involved in the community and be a part of her school's leadership team. And so she garnered support not only from college students, but from her school and the grocery store, and raised enough change to provide all students at her school, 767 students, brand new books. And all of them came with inspirational messages from college students and high school students. And so she was able to complete that. And she didn't have closure to the school year because of COVID, and she wanted to do something more. And so we created these care packages, and we were able to deliver curbside care packages, 3 brand new books and snacks to kids. And she told her mom, I feel like I have closure. Like, this is a good way to end the school year. I didn't feel like I had that closure where I can see my friends, and I'm glad I was able to do this for them, especially during this time. And so, and today she recently found out that she was accepted into the leadership team this year. And so, which is an amazing, like, full circle, and it says a lot about the work that we're doing, but also just being there to just uplift. We just have to listen, and support each other. And so that's like one of the stories that was just resonating with me at this moment to share with you all. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Maybe, Charmaine, if your connection is working, do you have a story that comes to mind?
Well, our project with the mobile library has just begun, so we're still in the baby stages of connecting with educators and just people who can help support and build this stream. But one story I do have is when we got the books of, the packages of books from Judith's reading room, my kids were like all already trying to get in there and look. They're so interested in these new books. They're new books, and they're like, wow, these are just new. And they were sitting there reading and laying there reading. That's awesome to see. They're really excited about these new books. They're getting in there. We're trying to say, no, don't bend it. It's for our library. Don't touch, don't leave marks. Just kind of leave it. So we have to put them up. But they were sneaking in there reading these books. I think it's going to be awesome. I'm very excited for the future, of our relationship together and for building in our community. I want to see all the other res kids so excited about these new books. And whatever, how Ty said that you don't hate reading, it's about we haven't found the right book. And I feel like that's the same here for our children in the reservation. Reading is fun, and I want to see that same excitement for them, and I'm excited for this journey to get going. So we're still in the baby stages of our mobile library. So, but that's one story of a kid being excited about books and something with reading.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. That's a great story. And Ty, a lot of your work is centered around this, the excitement of reading. And maybe there's a story that calls to mind for you.
For me, it's not a story because there's just way too many of them. But there's a pattern with two phrases that I hear constantly. And first of all, I'm a kid from the hood. I'm an inner city kid born and raised in the Bronx. So I tend to gravitate towards that. I tend to visit inner city kids, low-income communities, which tend to be very diverse communities. And so that's just kind of where my heart and soul is, because that's who I am and where I'm from. And there's two sentiments that kids say to me far too often for there not to be a connection and a pattern. And the first one is, I didn't like reading until I read your books. And I hear that so often, it just makes my heart sing to be able to provide these tools to be that book that the kid says. When I say as a kid that hasn't found that book yet, I'm so fortunate to say that so often my book has been that book that kind of hooks that kid. But the other side of that coin is that the kid says, or the child will say, this character looks like me. And there's a direct correlation between the two, that the kids don't like reading because they don't see themselves reflected in this way. So when I hear those two sentiments, it really is almost telling me the same thing. It's about representation. Our children need to see themselves depicted in these characters, and it needs to be broader than outside of the scope of slavery and segregation and how things are overcome, because kids in essence just want to read for fun and just want to be kids, so that when they can see themselves in a character that talks like they talk, acts like they act, and lives and loves like they do, it really builds and bonds and connects. And so I'm just really, again, remarkably proud to be able to create these tools where the kids can say the first book I fell in love with was one of Ty Allen Jackson's books.
That's incredible. Yeah, congratulations to have those experiences.
Thank you.
So, Basarat, does any stories that any of the panelists have spoken about today call to mind any of your memories?
Yes, certainly. I mean, in 40 years, there are many stories, but I'll just pick one of them. This is in 2005 when we had a very devastating earthquake in Azad Jammu Kashmir. So when we were able to go there and had to go by helicopter, we took a lot of books and puppets and materials for the children so that they could make drawings, etc. Because the earthquake had happened when the children were in school. So they were completely traumatized because the schools came down on them and they lost a lot of, fellow students. And there was this tent that I think one of the UN agencies had set up. And we set up our fun place in that tent so that the children could come and use the materials and look through the books, etc. And there was this one little girl, I think she was about 6 years old, and her mother kept prodding her because they were all living in tents since their houses had been destroyed. So she kept saying, go inside, there's a lot of fun. And this girl was scared. But then when she saw the puppets and she saw the books and she saw the stories being told, she inched her way in. And I mean, I was following her and I could see that she was losing her fear. She came, she picked up books, she looked through the photographs, and then she just ran outside and said to her mother, you know what, I did it. And that was really beautiful.
Wow, that's incredible. Thanks for sharing. The next question is about how has your work changed your thinking about literacy, and what have you learned about literacy and the power of literacy through your work? And Basara, while you had the mic, maybe you can take a stab at that one.
I think literacy, again, having worked in squatter colonies with children and whose parents were completely illiterate, and children were going out on the street and doing odd jobs like washing cars or selling pens or just hanging around so people would give them extra money, and starting schools in those squatter colonies, and finding out after 5 years that those homes where there was no literacy and people were forced to send the letters that family wrote to them to strangers to read them, there was such an empowerment when the children were able to read out those letters to their parents. And so it's actually giving people sight. I often think of literacy as, eyesight. It enabled the children to read directions. It enabled them to see what medicines their parents or their grandparents were taking and what the dose needed to be. And it's empowerment, and it's essential, because without literacy, I think people lose their potential and they lose their self-respect. And that's what we need. We need people to have self-respect and to believe in themselves.
Definitely. Charmaine, what about you? Any ways that your thinking about literacy has changed through your work and through what you've observed?
I really agree with Bazar just now. I feel like taking on this work is really, I'm really taking on the commission to provide literacy to our people. Right now it's accessibility, because we live so far from public libraries. So right now I really want to make it happen. Like, I think I'm just taking it more seriously. Before it was just put a couple of books here in this little bookshelf, take one, leave one books, and I'm like, okay, a kid's gonna read it. But now it's like, I really want the kids to read it. It's become more real to me. I'm really taking on this commission. Everything Bazar just said, I totally agree. Being able to read, being able to, you're opening up more possibilities for yourself and for your family. Like, education is going to take you so much further, and that's what I want for the Navajo kids here, or the children. I really believe that and want that for them too.
Yeah, amazing. Ty, how about you?
So there are two things. In my last TED Talk, I started out by saying, if you and your child were walking down the street and LeBron James was walking down towards you, would you recognize him? And of course, your child's answer would be yes, of course they would recognize LeBron James. If Beyonce was walking towards you, would your child recognize? Of course they would recognize Beyonce. But if Jeff Kenny was walking down the street towards them, would they recognize him? And chances are they wouldn't. And I can even probably ask some of you if you know who Jeff Kenny is. And you may not recognize the name, but you'll recognize his character of The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. He is the author of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid stories. You're all nodding your head now to the character, but you didn't nod your head to the author. And the problem is that the world of literature does not promote itself the way that basketball promotes LeBron James or that pop culture promotes Beyonce. So it's really vitally important for the world of literature to start promoting its real true stars, and that's the authors and the illustrators. So there has to be a better job of not just exalting the characters, which of course is really important, but our kids don't want to emulate The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. They want to actually emulate the author. So if we're going to inspire our kids to be writers, to be illustrators, we have to showcase the most important and vital part of authorship, and that's the author. And the other part that I want to bring to light is that it's so vitally important to promote the importance of literacy to uplift our children, but that's applicable towards our adults as well that aren't reading at a very standard level. The illiteracy is directly connected to so many things that ail our country. So we have to not lose sight of really reaching out to the parents, which are the primary educators of the children that we're trying to gravitate to. So it really is a double-sided coin where we have to not only engage and uplift our children through reading, but we have to uplift and educate the parents as well. Because like Jade Baldwin once said, and I have to paraphrase, is that our children never listen to their parents, but they never fail to emulate them. So if we can exalt and lift up our adults, they will in turn lift up their children.
Incredible. And I think a lot of each of your work is kind of centered around the question of like, who are we missing, or who could we be reaching out to, and who's not getting the support that they need. And I think, Ty, you definitely have highlighted, right, that like the parents do play a really important role here, and adults shouldn't be overlooked as well. That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you.
Chris, what about you? Anything that stood out as something that's changed how you think about literacy, or that you've learned through your work?
I think that, the more that we work with diverse communities, it's really important that children see themselves in the books. I think that's something that we need to continue to support and see. So Black students see themselves in the books. Navajo students see themselves in the books. Filipino students see themselves in the books. I just think that we need to embrace all cultures, and we need to, I think books is a gateway to that. And so there's a lot of classrooms that we need to really look at and think, okay, how are we diversifying literacy in these classrooms? What can we do? And so hearing Ty share, that this kid can say this is the first time he's connected with reading because of knowing that it's a Black author, Black characters, they probably dive into that book, and we needed more of that. And I think also parent involvement's important. I think all of us adults need to share that love of reading in our communities, and I want to see that come to life even more, where you see us all doing book clubs together, and so then that ripples down to the younger individuals in our lives wanting to do the same thing. And I think that just diversifying the way that we approach eliminating illiteracy, or just sharing that love of literacy. Like, let's ask kids, what do you want to read? Here's 5 books. Which one of these interests you more? And see what they pick out. And I'm just excited just to hear, other folks' stories and the great things that you all are doing too. And there's a lot of synergy.
Definitely. And like I began the section, that was one of the things that really stood out to all of us on the board, reading all these applications. And I just want to say thank you so much for each of you for sharing your stories, for being such an inspiring leader in your communities. I hope you know that you'll always be part of the Judith's Reading Room community. And congratulations to all of you for being champions of literacy. And with that, I would like to pass it to none other than our president and co-founder, Kathy Lieber.
Oh, Anthony, that was so great. And you know, this idea of having a dialogue with the winners was Anthony's idea in the preparation for how we might structure today's award ceremony, because Anthony, like those of us who've been lucky enough to attend an actual in-person award ceremony, saw in particular last year what happened when Vicky from Greece, who was flown by her government to New York to accept the award, and Alvin Irby, our last year's grand prize winner, got together, hugged, exchanged books, loved each other, started talking. All these little conversations started erupting happily around the restaurant. And we thought, how do we create that? And Anthony did a brilliant job. Thank you so much, Anthony, for your wonderful questions and these great answers that proved your early point, which is we're a small world. We have to treasure each other, hold on to each other, share with each other. And we are here for the long haul, as many of you know, and Bazarat can prove. We like to stick with you, so please stick with us. So before we conclude, I would like to extend a personal thank you to Carol Cannon, who managed our web Zoom call, who worked with the board members all these weeks, and to Judy Glam, who you may not have heard from today, but you'll know her name because she's our webmaster, and Judy Glam is the person you all sent your photos to and your videos to, and Judy and Carol collaborated to get them on here. But Judy, importantly, also gets these materials on our website. So we're grateful, so grateful to both Judy and to Carol. So I just want to make a promotion here that applications for our 2021 Freedom Through Literacy Award will be posted on our website in January. So please help us get out the word to your friends. And Ty and Charmaine in particular, who have not won a grand prize award, you're eligible to apply again, and we encourage you to do so. You've now met a couple of our grand prize winners, so you have no excuse not to, no excuse. Please, all of you, visit our website and our social media often. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And importantly, please add a link to your website to encourage people to see Judith's reading room. So I guess what I meant to say, you can see I'm not the expert here. Please add a link to Judith's reading room on your website to encourage other champions of literacy so they can see the beautiful work you're all doing, and therefore get the word out and inspire a love of reading. So I think right now, Scott, it's time to uncork that bottle of champagne you've been hiding from me. So can we uncork? Woo! And let's all raise our glasses in a toast to all of our winners. Here we go. I'm supposed to watch what I'm doing, not to spill. That's enough, thanks. And for you, we're gonna raise our glasses, our beers, our waters, our tea, whatever we have, our wine. Raise a glass in toast of all of our present and our former champions of literacy. Cheers to all of you. Keep up the good work.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Stay well, be well, stay in touch. Let us know how we can help. If we don't hear from you, we don't know how we can help you. Stay in touch. See you next year. Be well. Cheers.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye, Charmaine.
And
Charmaine,
bye-bye.
stay in touch. We want to send you more books.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for everything you're doing, Charmaine. Bazarat, I can't wait to get back to Pakistan.
We would
Bye,
love
everybody.
to have all of you visit us in Pakistan.
You know,
Thank
I've
you very
been.
much.
I have to send you a photograph of me in a beautiful outfit and even on the back of a camel in the Tar Desert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'll have to send you that
Great.
photo.
Please do. I'd love to see it. And thank you, everyone. This has been absolutely beautiful. And
Thank
I'm going to treasure the memories of today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Is that earthenware thing from Pakistan?
No. Okay, Carol, you're going to end the meeting? Let's see. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Sarah. Bye, Sue.